Conference will now be recorded.
Okay, fine, guys. And today we are going to discuss one more very important topic, which is required in implementation of data engineering projects or while designing end-to-end pipelines. Okay, of course, you can build end-to-end pipelines as a project case study. Batch processing, as well as you can develop an end-to-end pipeline using streaming process, as well as you can develop end-to-end project using autoloaders, as well as delta live tables. If these four pipelines, if you design batch processing pipeline, streaming process pipeline, autoloader pipeline, end-to-end autoloader, and the one more project case study using multi-hop medallion architecture called delta live tables. In all the four case studies, if you study the multi-hop medallion architecture, which is a data design pattern that basically contains three different data layers. One is called as bronze layer, silver layer, and gold layer. Especially in the gold layer, we are going to keep analytics ready data. Analytics ready data means the data which is required for data analysis and decision making. And the data is basically called as a aggregated data. Okay, so that related topic now I'm going to discuss, because that helps really in implementing the project case studies. Okay, so fine, guys. Okay, what is an aggregation? Can anybody say, guys, what is an aggregation? Come on, what is an aggregation? Can anybody? Okay, sir. An aggregation is a process of performing, okay, performing calculations on a group of data. Generally, with a simple layman language, guys, let us will discuss. Okay, aggregation. See, guys, make a question yourself. What is aggregation? Then we'll talk about the and bookish part. What is an aggregation, sir? And say an aggregation, guys. An aggregation is a process of calculating okay, business aggregates, and such as okay, sum, comma, average, comma, max, comma, min, sum, average, max, min, okay, count, okay, etc., for a group of records. Okay, for a group of records, what is actually a group is nothing but for a certain category of records. A group is nothing but a group always defines a certain category of the data. Yes, for each category of data, you are going to calculate total and average, max, min, count, etc. Okay, these are all called business aggregates. Sir, business aggregates are nothing but, guys, analytics ready data. Okay, if you want, just let me in a simple analytics ready data, or this is also called as a curated data for analytics. See, and business aggregates are called business aggregates are analytics, okay, ready data, analytics ready data. Business aggregates are analytics ready data for, okay, artificial intelligence and for descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics. Okay, this called guys analytics ready data, which is also called as a guys and curated data. We can also call it as a curated data. Data gets curated to aggregates. Okay, so fine. And anybody knows what is the basic rule of thumb? Can anybody says Shiva, Kishore, Aditya, anyone, Likita, Shiva Prasad, Umadevi, anyone?
Sir, I didn't understand the question, sir. Like, what is the basic rule of thumb? Like, what?
Thumb rule. What is a thumb rule you basically follow in calculating the aggregation?
So for some, we can either go with group or entire data, sir. Like, some, we can like we can group it based on a specific value of the column, or we can calculate the data on every on entire table, but it should be numbers, numerical. We can only do it on the numerical.
That is true. That is true. Okay. So of course, whatever you are saying is okay, right? Okay, but a small change you can make, okay, in your discussion. So in simple to say, in very simple to define, say, understand. Let us, okay, um, okay, business, and the rule of thumb is if, okay, see guys, if select query, if select query contains, if the select query contains aggregates, if the select query contains aggregates, okay, if the select query contains aggregates, then other than aggregates, then other than aggregates, then other than aggregates should appear, then other than aggregates should appear, okay, in, okay, group by clause, should appear in group by clause. Okay, guys, appear in a group by class. Understand, sir? This is the thumb rule. If you remember, guys, if this thumb rule, if you remember, okay, you can easily write the queries. Why? Because while developing the project case studies, guys, while developing the case studies, we are certainly going to write these aggregates either in PySpark coding or SQL coding, either PySpark coding or SQL coding, any code you write, and the compulsory you need to specify the and group by class, group by class. Okay, so here, okay, and I hope, and Likita and okay, Padma, Kishore, you're all people are clear. Shiva, with this clear? Yes. What is a thumb rule? If the select query contains,
Group by, sir. Yeah.
okay, if the select statement contains, guys, if the select statement contains, okay, if the select statement contains aggregate functions or aggregates, then other than aggregates, other than aggregates should appear in group by class. I will explain anyway with the example. I'll explain to you. Then after that you can write some, okay, and the bookish definition which, okay, taken from, okay, some reference books. See guys, aggregation in SQL. Guys, you know what is a SQL, guys? You know, SQL is nothing but a language used to communicate with the databases to retrieve the data or to store the data. Yes, SQL is a language to communicate with the databases to retrieve the data or to store the data. So guys, here we'll talk about the retrieval part only. Select statement. You know guys, analytics operations contains what type of queries? Analytics is a read heavy operation. Analytics
Aggregation.
query, okay, select statement. Yes,
Yes, sir. Select.
select statement only. So guys, here simple. Say aggregation, the SQL refers to performing calculations on groups of data, such as finding totals, averages, counts. Okay, and these are performed using aggregate functions. How you guys can calculate uh, business aggregates. Aggregates are calculated using, okay, aggregate functions along with the group by class if the grouping is needed. Okay, what are the common, guys, what are the common aggregate functions we are having? What are the common aggregate functions we are having? Common aggregate functions. So here, count, guys, common aggregate functions are count the number of rows, sum, okay, and adds up the numerical values, okay, average, calculate the average value, and finding the minimum value and finding the maximum or largest value. Okay, these are all some aggregate function names like sum, average, count, min, max. Okay, so based on that, take a simple example, guys. You take a simple example. What is an employee ID, department, and salary? Employee ID, department, and salary. And guys, if you consider here and the employee IDs and the departments and the salaries, now you can find out aggregate for all the rows. Sir, aggregate for all the rows. Okay. And if you want to calculate aggregate for all the rows, sir, here aggregate for all the rows means it does not contain any group by class, guys. It does not contain any group by class. Okay. Let us say example. Okay. And then write a query. See, guys, how I'm writing the query. Select. Okay. Select aggregate function, sum of, okay, and salary, and calculate. Next, comma, average of, okay, salary. Next, comma, and min. What is the minimum salary? And what is the max salary? Max salary. Okay, comma, and count star, and star count and total number of rows. Total number of rows. Okay, from. Sir, star represents the total number of rows. Okay. Now from, and let us say, and example table name is employees. Simple. Sir, you this guys, tell me in this example, sir, in this example, okay, if you consider average salary, okay, and minimum salary, okay, in this query contains, guys, this query contains, sir, this query contains only aggregates or other than any aggregates are present. Come on, sir, this contains only
Only
aggregates. Any other than aggregated columns are there? Only aggregates, yes.
only aggregates.
only aggregates.
Yes, sir, only
Since
aggregates.
because since it contains only aggregates, there is no other than aggregated columns. Other than aggregated means non-aggregated. There is no non-aggregated. So since there is no since there is since there is no since there is no non-aggregated column, okay, a group by clause is not required. Sorry, a group by clause is not required. Not required. A group by clause is not required. Okay. So guys, remember, and this is the a simple, okay, query. Okay, as per thumb rule, see guys, other than aggregates not appear. Other than aggregates means bracket non-aggregated columns. Okay, non-aggregated. Okay, should appear in group by class. But in this example, okay, see our first, okay, exercise title, aggregate all rows. All rows. There is no category of rows. There is no group of rows. Okay, and simple query. Suppose guys, remember, in case, okay, and one more example. One more example. Say guys, and you want to calculate aggregation with group by. Aggregation with group by, guys. Aggregation with group by. Sir, in this case, aggregation with a group by means, okay, so here non-aggregated columns present. Why? Because you are using group by, okay, option. See here, uh, let me write. Sir, see our data. First observe the data. Employee ID, and the employee ID belongs to particular department and salary. Now sir, I want to find out department wise what is the total salary. And department wise means department as a category. Categorize the departments. Yes, categorize the department means, and the departments with the similar values. Categorize the department means, categorize the department means department with the similar values. Department with the similar values are, okay, are categorized into one group. So HR is one category, IT is one category, and sales is one category. In that category, any number of rows, detailed rows, all the detailed rows are just grouped into one category. Clear? Now sir, if you look at department as a group by, how many categories of departments are there? If you
Three.
group it, three. Yes. So now in this case, guys, see, and right, okay, and I'm writing a select query, guys. Select department, okay, and what's the column name given here? Yeah, department. Select department. Select department, comma, and same thing you write here, and sum of salary, and same thing. Okay, select department and sum of salary and average of salary, and minimum of salary, min of salary, and the next, and the max of salary, and say count star. count star. Okay, now count star, and from, okay, from, and the table name is, guys, from, and table name is employees, and table name is employees. Okay, and guys, now tell me, and since the table name is employees, okay, guys, if you run the query, what could be the result? What
It
could be
will
the
throw an
result?
error. Non-aggregate functions not part of the.
Yes, very good, very good. See here, since, okay, if you submit this query, if you submit the query for execution, yes, it will throw the error. It throws an error. The reason, guys, here, see, some, average, min, max, count, these are all aggregated columns. Some, average, min, max, count, those are all comes under aggregated columns. Other than aggregated columns, you have a non-aggregated column called department that should appear in the group by class. Yes, this is the a basic rule of thumb. So guys, here you need to write group by, and say department, group by department. Okay, so department wise, or the department as a category, it is going to calculate the aggregates. So these aggregates are called analytics ready data, which is used in machine learning or artificial intelligence for forecasting the business, as well as and preparing the reports and preparing visualizations such as reports and dashboards for a descriptive analytics. Okay. So, and even in PySpark, of course, we are writing in the SQL, but in PySpark and compulsory in SQL also we are write. Why? Because, and these are the two languages very commonly used in the data engineering projects. One is called Python based Spark, and the second one is a SQL. Of course, that's called as a Spark SQL, and these two are very commonly used in the project implementation, or with the combination of some part of the code you write in PySpark and some part of the code you write in SQL. As with the combination also you can write the code. Okay, anyway, see guys, this called aggregation with the group by. Without group by, it will throw error. Why? Because, sir, in L1 round of interviews, these are the questions that commonly they asked. Yes, L1 round, these questions will commonly asked. And the next thing is, guys, and the question is, okay, sometimes the question comes, okay, so the question name is detailed rows and and aggregated rows. And anybody can say the detailed rows and aggregated rows. Okay, what is the difference between a detailed row and aggregated rows?
In aggregated rows, we only have the numeric values, whereas in detailed rows, we will have descriptive values.
No.
No,
No,
not.
detailed rows means we have to show all the data from the table.
Table. Very good. Very good. See, guys, very good. So detailed rows means, guys, every detailed information of the particular row or particular, okay, employee or particular product. Very, very detailed and granular information. Very detailed data means very granular information. Detailed data means very granular information. Granular information. Yes, more detailed information. That's called granular, means very detailed. Suppose and example, if you want, okay, you can take, okay, detailed row means a simple example of a detailed row. See here, and employee ID, okay, and the name and the job, salary, and which city he belongs to, what is the phone number, and what is the email, and okay, and the next, let us say, and primary skill, secondary skill, primary skill, secondary skill, primary skill, secondary skill, primary skill, secondary skill, okay, and like that, if you can say higher date, and what is the, okay, and okay, you can say years of experience, okay, something like, see guys, very detailed and granular information of particular, okay, particular entity, very detailed information. Yes, and aggregated rows means, okay, and rows which are calculated with summaries. But sir, aggregated rows are calculated from the detailed rows only. Sir, aggregated rows are calculated from detailed rows. Clear? And based on that, okay, the common, okay, interview question they'll ask, okay, and based on that, the common question, what is the difference between where clause and group, okay, having clause? Sir, where clause, I'll write in capital letters, where clause, and the other one is having clause. What is the purpose of the where clause?
So based on the aggregation function, we want to filter the data, then we need to use having clause, because in group by clause will be executed before where clause, so we cannot provide the aggregation function in where clause. Having clause is executed after group by function, so that's the reason we should provide aggregation function in having clause.
Okay,
Where
uh,
class we can use on detailed rows, having class we
very,
can use on aggregated
that's it,
columns.
very simple in one line. That's absolutely right. And simple, okay, where clause can be used to filter the detailed rows. Where clause is used to filter the detailed rows, whereas having clause can be used to filter the aggregated rows. Remember, okay, that's a very simple, okay, point. Where clause is used to filter the detailed rows, whereas having clause can be used to filter the aggregated rows. Okay, and this is also one possible in, okay, in a SQL round. Okay, this is a, okay, one kind of question will come. So based on that, see, filtering after aggregation, using having clause. Filtering after aggregation, that means you are filtering the aggregated rows. Filtering the aggregated rows. If you want to filter the detailed rows, then you can go for where clause. If you want to make a filtering on aggregated rows, you guys can use having clause. Okay, and same thing, guys, same query you just copy here. Okay, and copy here. Okay, see guys, when you make a copy, see, and count star from, okay, from employees, from employees, from employees, group by, okay, department, see, group by department. Next, after group by, you're going to write, okay, having clause, having, yes, having, and see this sum of salary, suppose, okay, having sum of salary, okay, and should be greater than, suppose you can give some value like 80,000, something like, okay. So guys, that means you're filtering on aggregated rows, and the total salary greater than 80,000, those aggregated records will be displayed. Sir, you should write having clause after the group by, after group by. So finally, from this overall discussion, guys, from this overall discussion, say what are the some important key points? Yes, Likita, are you clear, Likita, with this?
Yes, sir.
Could you able to understand this? Okay, fine. And see guys here, and now use group by, okay, use group by to aggregate per category, use group by class to aggregate per category like department, use having class instead of where class for filtering aggregated results, and the aggregate function ignores null values except the except count star. Guys, very interesting point here is null values. Sir, how can you define a null value, guys? Sir, a null is represents a missing value or unknown data. Come on, it is not equivalent to zero. Yes, it is
Yes,
not
it's not
equivalent to
zero.
zero.
Null
Yes,
basically it means nothing, no value.
nothing, no value. Yes, a null represents, guys, missing values or unknown data, and basically it's not equal to zero, even not equal to empty string. Even sir, even not equal to null, null not equal to null. Are you sure, sir? Even
Yes,
see
sir.
guys,
Null.
uh,
Correct.
yes, yes, null even is not equal to null also. Null even not equal to null. That's the reason they see the point is written in SQL. A null represents missing or unknown data. It's not equal to zero. It's not equal to empty string, and not even equal to another null value. Okay. So here the points are written. What is the meaning of aggregate function? Ignore null values except count star. Okay, I'll explain the detail. See guys. So when you use aggregate functions, guys, when you use aggregate functions like sum, average, min, and max, except count star, SQL ignores the null values because it includes them, okay, would make the results meaningless and incorrect. Okay, so if you consider, okay, null value, uh, if you consider ignoring null values, guys, if you consider ignoring null values, if you consider ignoring null values, guys, see tables like sales, ID and amount, guys, ID and amount, and ID and amount. ID and amount, ID 100, okay, and another ID null value. Guys, you tell me, by seeing this you can tell me if, okay, sum of amount, what could be the value? It ignores the
300.
null. 300.
300.
300. Average means it's
150.
150. Okay, okay, better. Here I'm writing, okay, select, okay, select sum of, okay, amount, okay, comma, ABG of amount, next count, okay, count of amount, comma, count star from table name is sales. And Uma, can you say that what could be the answer for this? Uma,
Yeah,
can you
sum will be 300, average
300
will be
will be
150,
150.
count will be 2, and count star will be 3.
Count star will be 3.
3.
Uh,
Count of amount will be 2.
yeah, 2. Okay, good. Okay. So, Uma, here only that very interesting point. Padma, you are saying something? Padma,
Sorry, no, sorry, no.
okay, okay, fine. So, the interesting point, Uma has given, okay, the answer is, I'm writing here, a small change is there in that answer. And let me, sir, sum is 300. Why? Because null values gets ignored. Okay. Next, average value. Okay.
Count of amount will be 3.
Yeah. Average is 150 because it is ignoring the null. And count of amount. Yes. And the count of
3.
amount 3.
Mhm.
Yes. So you are saying 3, but here count of amount. Okay. See, what is the point you have written? Say, aggregate function ignores null values except count star. Okay. And see here, the count will become a 2.
Initially I said 2. But after you got
Okay, right, no issues. Okay, and count star, it does not ignore it, it will count all the rows. Okay, the value will become a 3. Okay, this is also one of the interview question, guys. Okay, that's what especially I'm just giving. Okay, why? Because guys, we are not just learning Azure Databricks and PySpark and Azure Data Factory. Yes, but on SQL, at least a minimum in L1 round or L2 round, a minimum 2 to 3 questions will come. Minimum 2 to 3 questions will come. Minimum 2 to 3 questions will come. Okay, on that anything, not only this, but generally most of the times questions comes on joins and aggregates. Why? Because these are two things very frequently used, as well as sometimes one more question comes about the indexing part. Index, what is an index, what is the purpose of an index, what are the different types of index, and which index is more efficient, like primary index or secondary index, and how many primary indexes you can create and how many secondary indexes you can create on a columns of the table. Okay, so which type of index is more efficient in performance wise? Okay, and these are the three common question patterns in SQL. One is aggregation, other one is joins and types of joins like inner join, left outer join, right outer join, full outer join, self join, yes, self join, which is also called as a recursive join, left semi join, left anti join, especially left semi join and left anti joins. These are the two very frequently implemented solutions in our projects. Left anti join, left semi join, and those definitions. Okay. And generally in most of the interviews, what I observed is they give the two tables, even tables, so some null values also they will keep. Yes, what could be the final output? If you perform inner join, what could be the final output? Yes, if you perform left outer join, what could be the output? Just they'll give the time less than 1 minute. They'll give the two tables, table 1, table 2, and one common column they'll give it, and they will ask about the joins. This is 99% in every interview. It's a repeated question. Okay, most commonly they asked. Why? Because join definitions everybody can speak out. By seeing the data, what is an output coming? That's important to know it. Okay, fine. Anyway, guys, except count star, remaining, okay, count of amount, it will ignore it. It will ignore. Star does not ignore. And next, guys, explanation, guys, function, okay, and what it does, and treatment of null and result. See, sum of amount, add up the values, and it will ignore the nulls. Treatment, ignore the nulls. 100 plus 200. Average, ignore the nulls. Count of amount, counts non-null values only. Okay, count non-null values only. Okay, means ignores the nulls. Two rows with the value. Count star, count all the rows, include the nulls. Total 3 rows. Okay, and these things are okay, and some important points you guys needs to recognize. In this point, I can say confidently, and these nulls, okay, how, okay, ignoring. Okay, so, and at the time of doing a project case studies, yes, you should be aware on these aggregated values. You should know about these aggregated values. Okay, how I'm writing the queries. At the time you can understand what is a dependency part. Okay, so I hope you guys are clear with these points. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so fine. Okay, guys, and I'm stopping the recording, guys, here.